down my vote!
You heard the rest. Now here's the best. Stay Tuned Sports Podcast.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, by myself once again. Me and Shoulders couldn't get our schedules together this week, but hopefully next week he'll be back. Not too much to talk about, with free agency kind of slowing up now, but there's still some interesting moves that have happened this past week that we'll touch on a little bit. Plus, the Rams releasing whatever that thing was, new logo, I guess they're calling it. And there's a former player that is not too happy about it and wants to talk to ownership about it. But before we get into the show, head over to Twitter, follow us there at ST Sports Podcast, as well as our Facebook page. Like and share that, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Head over to our website that we've had up for a few months now, staytunedsports.net. All our episodes are over there. Any of the social links that you want to find us at, or where you can listen to us. Plus, we do have a tab there for merchandise, t-shirts over at Teespring. And not just t-shirts, I mean, you can get phone covers, other things like that. And I am in the works of getting a new t-shirt designed with our Stay Tuned Sports iRacing car, which is drove by Scott Crump. Every Monday night, 9:30, head over to sim.tv and look for the Pristine Auction series. And make sure you root for number 51. That's our car. I forget where we are going on Monday, but I will definitely be posting all that stuff during the week from now till Monday, so you could watch the race. Because honestly, with no sports, it's actually very entertaining to watch. It's only hour and a half, depending on cautions and stuff like that. So like I said at the top of the show here, Los Angeles Rams released their new logo this past week. And listen, I'm not a graphic designer. I've played with the programs here and there. I could have did a better job for this. So they're trying to go away from the design they unveiled back in 2000 and kind of going back to like an old school blue and gold, but just the looks of it. And if you asked our good buddy King over on Twitter or Facebook, he just blew his mind of how ugly this thing looks. And Eric Dickerson has been vocal about it. And now, if you have watched over the past few years, Eric Dickerson is a very vocal Rams member, and he's also, part of their front office as well. He's the vice president of business development for the Rams. So, I mean, I know he probably only has like a 1% say in anything that goes in to the business, but you think they would have floated this idea, and it's terrible. Like this logo. He went to Twitter earlier today, Wednesday, and said, at Rams NFL fans, I reviewed your comments regarding our new logos and share in your disappointment. I'll be speaking with the Rams on our behalf. Please like if you prefer the logo on the left, and retweet to vote for the logo on the right, Rams Booster Club, the Rambassador. Now, if you go over to his Twitter handle, which is at Eric Dickerson, there's two logos there he has. One's a fan-made one, and the one on the right is, like he says in his tweet there, the Rams Booster Club. I personally retweeted because I think the Booster Club one actually looks really cool. The one on the left still kind of looks like the logo the Rams released the other day, but this is all in an effort to rebrand the look of the Rams to get ready for their new home at SoFi Stadium. Now, if this is how they want to kick off this new era, nothing really to get excited about. Like I said, it's just ungodly looking. The Rams are calling their new logo or whatever Rams Royal or Soul, which I guess that must be the new thing, like, you know, with the Vikings with, you know, skull, and now this. And they also had a comment from the Rams chief operating officer Kevin DeMoff, and said, you know, I'm sure it will be a surprise, it will be change, but lots of things are, and I think it's a change that our fans will come to know and love over time. They're hoping that their new fans will eventually start to like this logo. Now, if you guys also watched XFL this past season before they had to shut down, and even followed some of the fan sites on Facebook or Twitter, I think St. Louis Battlehawks are definitely winning the battle of who made out better here, the St. Louis fans or the LA Rams team. And even the St. Louis Battlehawks logo looks even better than the Rams logo. So if I was the Rams, you know, with all this cry, you know, if you want to kick off the new era in your new stadium, you got to step up your game and get a better logo, and just maybe listen to Mr. Dickerson with his two logos there. Now, at the time of us recording, I believe the logo on the left, which is the fan art made one, was ahead by a couple thousand clicks over the Booster Club one. So I'll be interesting to see if the Rams do change the logo, and do they go with one of these two that Eric Dickerson is going to suggest. Another story that came out, I believe it was yesterday, Tuesday. Once again, NCAA cannot get out of their own way. Trevor Lawrence of the Clemson Tigers, him and his girlfriend started a GoFundMe account for anybody that is being affected by this nasty virus, the coronavirus that's affecting everybody all over the world. They started a GoFundMe account to obviously collect money to help any families or people that are affected by the coronavirus, you know, whether it be medical bills or being out of work. And NCAA said, nope, shut it down. At some point, you know, I understand NCAA doesn't want them to make money off their likeness or their name, or, you know, whatever their exact rule states. Yeah, doesn't want off their name, image, or likeness. That's why they told Trevor Lawrence to shut it down. This should be like a base-to-base situation, because with everything going on in the world, with this virus and how it's affecting cities and states and nations and countries. Here is someone, and I mean other athletes are out there too, donating money to help victims of the virus and teams and some of their owners, even though some of the owners are making their employees take 50% pay cuts. Here's a kid who's not making money yet, that we know of, willing to help out this way, and you guys say no. Now, granted, a couple hours later, NCAA did come out and say they're allowing Lawrence to put it back up. But this is after everybody started jumping on you of how much of an ass you guys are for doing this. Like, again, I can't comprehend the thinking here of what would make a person say, no, can't do it, put it down. Even though you're doing something great for mankind, shut it down now. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I've never started a GoFundMe. I've seen them before. I'm pretty sure he didn't just put there a GoFundMe account for Trevor Lawrence and my girlfriend to raise money. I'm pretty sure he put something in there saying, all this money will be donated to families that are affected by the pandemic coronavirus. Now, the Clemson athletics department came out with a statement and admitted that the NCAA reached out to Clemson athletics this evening, informing us that they are waiving restrictions that had been in place and are now allowing institutions to utilize discretion with respect to funding efforts. We applaud and appreciate their swift action in permitting this activity to help people in a time of need. Now again, I mean, NCAA is only doing it because people jumped all over them for being dumbasses. They can't get out of their own way. Now, I saw someone on Twitter say, this is just another step, to take another step to show you how well NCAA is. How basically NCAA, their joke to begin with, and then just said, you know what, hold my beer. I'm going to be even more stupid now. And by shutting down this kid for doing the fundraiser. I just can't understand how stupid these people can be all over. And I'd be willing to bet it's not going to be millions of dollars he's going to raise. I'm sure it's going to be thousands. But what is, even say he raises 10 grand. What is 10 grand to a organization that makes millions every year? And you're going to gripe over $10,000? You're going to cause a fuss over nickels, basically, to what you make on TV deals, on bowl games? I mean, you're just a flat out joke, and it's sickening. It's sickening to see NCAA be this way. And for that reason, I'm bringing back an award I haven't done in a couple months. So NCAA, you get this award.
You're not really that stupid, are you?
Because I really think you are really that stupid. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of free agency with some players being released, XFL players starting to be signed by teams, and little Philadelphia Eagles talk with some upgrades to their defense. So we will be right back. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your good friend Jimbo from Stay Tuned Sports. Are you looking to get into writing or putting out podcasts to give you your hot takes or your opinion about certain subjects of the major sports or even e-gaming? Well, head over to bellyupsports.com and send the guys a message to get some information about how you could join our family. I've been part of the Belly Up Sports family since February, and I'll tell you what, it's a bunch of great guys and gals, help each other all out, and don't judge each other about what we put out there. So if you're interested, head over to bellyupsports.com, send a message to the guys. We're looking for writers, editors, even podcasters. So again, that is bellyupsports.com. Head over there, message them, and even read some of our articles. And welcome back. Yes, it's your good friend Jimbo here. And I've wanted to play that song for quite a while on the show. Just always keep forgetting to do it. So, reason why I bring that up is the Philadelphia Eagles made a couple more free agent signings. Nothing, over the top that's gonna really put them as a Super Bowl favorite, but some that are very interesting. Last week, I talked about how we re-signed, Jalen Mills and Roddy McLeod, as well as we traded for Darius Slay. I believe I talked about it last week. So we got Darius Slay from the Detroit Lions. I believe we gave up a third-round pick for him. 3-year deal, roughly about $36 million. But his deal is backloaded, and earlier this week, I believe it was Monday, we also signed Will Parks, who played with the Denver Broncos, signed him to a 1-year deal. He grew up an Eagles fan, and just from listening to him talk, he definitely seems like he has something more to prove now. Not only that he got, overlooked, I guess, from the Broncos for not re-signing him, but also he's playing for his team that he loved growing up. And earlier today, we signed Nickel Roby Coleman from the Rams. Signed him to a 1-year deal that is worth up to $1.3 million. Now, all you Eagles fans that always and keep on bashing Howie Roseman because he doesn't jump in and overpay for Byron Jones or go for and trade Zach Ertz for Julio Jones. I saw that rumor, and that's a topic for a different day. But totally overhauled the secondary. At least he's making the attempt to upgrade the secondary, because let's be honest, trash cans were a lot better than this secondary from last year. And on top of that, between signing Mills, McLeod, Will Parks, Nickel Roby Coleman, he only spent $5 million against the cap this year for those guys. Oh, and add Darius Slay. Now, granted, Darius Slay's contract is backloaded, so it basically looks like only a 2-year contract. All these guys are anywhere between 25 and 28 years old. So again, earlier this offseason, Howie Roseman came out and said he wants to get younger. So he's doing that part of it. And the only problem is he hasn't addressed the wide receiving core. And I'll get to that in a second of my thinking of why he might be doing that. Darius Slay, obviously marked down as the number 1 guy. He's played very well for the Lions. We wanted to trade for him before the trading deadline last year. Unfortunately, could not get a deal done. I like the Will Parks deal. I like Jalen Mills. And I'm starting to warm up to the idea of putting him back there at safety. He did get burned a lot with double moves, and at least if he's playing safety, he's not going to play the Malcolm Jenkins type role where he's always going to be up in the box. He's a sound tackler, very rarely misses tackles. He's very animated when it comes to that defense. Rodney McLeod resigning, I like it. I didn't want him to leave. I'm happy he's here for 2 years. I'd be willing to bet it's probably a 1 year deal with next year being backloaded. I'm starting to get excited for this secondary. I mean, not excited to the point where we're going to win the Super Bowl now because of these moves, but I think the defense is going to be a lot better against the pass this year, at least on paper. Because again, I do like the Javon Hargrave signing. There's still the rumor floating around out there that we're trying to strike a deal for the Jaguars defensive end, which I think the only way we get him is if we trade for the first round draft pick of this year, and I don't like that. I don't think the Jaguars would take, say, Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson for their players straight up. I don't think they would go for that. But if we were to get him, I mean, that line would just be a monster. Now, the one spot on the team now, the glaring spot that we need upgrading, is our wide receiving core. I think with these moves here, with the Will Parks signing, the Darius Slay trade, bringing Mills and McLeod back, I think this is setting Howie Roseman up to save his draft picks, and I see him moving up into the high teens to get one of the top receivers, whether it's CeeDee Lamb or Higgins, which Higgins may be there at 21. And I think Alshon Jeffrey is on the team still, because as a backup plan. Meaning, if Howie doesn't get one of his receivers that he wants, they'll keep Jeffrey on the team. I think if they get the receiver they want, the very next day, Jeffrey will be gone. We're going to eat a lot of his money. It's going to be a lot of dead money. But next year, we won't have him on the books. Now, I think, though, by signing all these corners is tipping Howie's hand of what he's doing, and I think he's going to have to overpay to get up into that 11, 12, draft spot. But if you could get one of those top 3 receivers, depending on what you're giving up, I mean, obviously you got to give up the 21 spot. You have a second and a third round pick. I mean, you probably could move up there just by doing a 1 and a 3. But by showing your hand here, they may be asking for more. But you have to be damn sure that whatever you're giving up, the receiver you're drafting is a surefire starter day one. Granted, now I did see someone say, let's not forget, you have Doug Peterson as the play caller, head coach. Carson Wentz still has Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Deshaun Jackson, if he stays healthy. He still has weapons, Miles Sanders. But you can never have too many weapons. And just imagine how well this offense would be if we could get one of these top rookie receivers, and how actually I think it would help Miles Sanders more than Carson Wentz, even though, it definitely will help Carson. But if you get one of those top receivers in the draft, the defenses aren't going to be able to stack the box or worry about Miles Sanders as much as they would if we didn't have a top receiver. I'm not giving up on JJ yet. I still think if they get a top 3 receiver from the draft, I think you'll be looking at that receiver as your number 1 guy, Deshaun number 2, and I think JJ slides in there at 3, and he's gonna be better this year than last year. And another reason why I think Howie kind of showed his hand of what the route he's going to pick up a receiver is the fact that he didn't try to sign Robbie Anderson or Brashad Perriman. I mean, you look at what they signed for. Perriman signed 1-year deal worth up to $8 million with the Jets, and Robbie Anderson signed a 2-year $20 million with the Panthers. Not overly expensive, especially Perriman. I think Perriman would have been the better pickup, less off the field controversy, and last year behind Mike Evans and Chris Goodwin, he still ended up with 600 plus yards and 6 touchdowns as a number 3 guy. That's not that bad. Now, if we would have signed him, I don't think we draft one of the receivers in the draft. I think maybe you'd be looking at like 2nd or 3rd round there. So this draft is definitely going to be interesting for Philly whenever we have it, because I think there's still talk of postponing a little bit. They already came out and said that they're going to do a studio-like draft, probably going into the war rooms to do the draft picks, things of that nature. Now, there is still one receiver out there, though, that Philly could sign, and that is Cam Phillips of the Houston Rednecks. Now, I bring this up because we already have 2 of the big names from the XFL, PJ Walker and Jordan Ta'amu, signed to NFL teams. PJ Walker got signed to the Panthers after Carolina released Cam Newton, who's a free agent right now. Even that situation with Carolina and Cam was, I think, poorly handled. I'll get back to XFL guys here in a second, but I just want to say a quick piece about the Cam Newton situation. Like, you told him that he was granted his permission to seek a trade. He comes out and says, "I never asked for a trade." Then, once you couldn't find a trading partner, you released him, only to sign Teddy Bridgewater a few hours later to a 3-year, $63 million contract. I mean, it's not a bad pickup. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, is a good quarterback. He showed last year with the Saints when Breeze went out for those 5 games that he could still play. Now, I think the Saints have a better receiving core and probably offensive line than Carolina does, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays there. And the Panthers saved $19 million in cap space with only $2 million in dead money. Then they turn around and, like I said, signed PJ Walker, 2-year deal, That's worth $1.5 million. Includes signing bonuses, workout bonuses, all this other stuff. But PJ Walker, I think, was definitely the best quarterback in the XFL. And the next day, Jordan Ta'amu signed with the Chiefs, going over there with Andy Reid. He was the XFL's third-rated quarterback for the Battlehawks, and not a bad stat line. They played 5 or 6 games before they had to shut it down. He completed 72% of his passes, over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and was only intercepted twice. Now, again, this XFL was not the NFL caliber corners and defenses like that, but showed he could be a backup. Could come in, when needed. So, if the NFL has this preseason game, because again, with this virus that is taking over our nation, sports is put on hold for a while. Not sure when they're going to start. It'll be. I hope they get some preseason so we could get a better look at these guys. I'm just curious where the XFL goes now, because those guys, PJ Walker, Jordan Ta'amu, Cam Phillips, they were starting to be the face of that league. And unfortunately for the XFL, this is how it's going to be. You're going to have to build a league with a lot of no-name guys and hope that the product is good enough to keep the fans interested. They already came back out and said that they will be back next year. They're working on expanding the league already to a couple more teams. Hopefully Philly gets one. I wouldn't mind going down there during February and March. Just get a little football feel to that. But I think that's going to be it for this week. I think I covered everything that we possibly could talk about. If there's ever, especially in times like this now with this virus going around and the sports kind of put on hold, if there's any topics or subjects you want me to talk about, or you want to ask me a question and I'll answer and give you a shout out on the show, head over to Twitter and send us a message there at ST Sports Podcast, or head over to our Facebook page and send us a message there, or go to our website, staytunesports.net. There's a way you can contact us on there, and I'll be more than happy to answer any type of questions, any sports questions, anything like that. So, till next time, this is your good friend Jimbo, signing out.